Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribe. So today I'm going to start a new series on my channel called Sampling Samples. Even though I do a lot of blind buying, I also get quite a lot of samples of different fragrances to try out. And so I decided to start this series so that I can share with you my opinions and expressions about a lot of different types of fragrances. Sometimes I will have completely random type of samples in these videos. Sometimes I might combine samples from the same house, but I thought it might be a good idea to share my opinions about a variety of fragrances that I don't necessarily have full bottles of. Yes, I know it is more fun to look at a full bottle and to talk about that, but that way I'm limiting as to how many different fragrances I can share with you. Anyways, we will see how this series goes. If you're interested, if you are, definitely give me thumbs up to show me that you found this series interesting and that you would like me to continue. So today I am going to talk about two different houses and some samples that I have tried from these two houses. The first one is the house of Oud. And if you watched my channel, you know that I already have a full bottle of Great Pearls, which I absolutely love, so I'm not going to talk about it here. But I ordered a few other samples of fragrances from this house that I wanted to share with you. The first one I have is Date Delight. So the notes in this fragrance are dates, honey, sugar, cinnamon, vanilla, caramel, tonka, coumarin, labdanum, benzoin, and peony. So let's smell it. Let's see what we get. I definitely get the sweetness. So maybe it's a combination of honey, sugar, vanilla, but it's not overly sweet. Definitely, it's a light type of sweetness. There's definitely some spiciness, cinnamon, I'm guessing, maybe coumarin as well coming through. And there are definitely dates. I mean, obviously, Dates Delight, dates should be the star of the show, which they're coming through, but again, they're not very sweet. And maybe it's the labdanum that brings an element of sort of, I don't know, slight smokiness, I would say. So to me, this is definitely a unisex type of scent because it's not overly sweet or it's not overly fruity. It is nice. It is definitely nice. It's a pleasant scent. But to me, I don't think it's bottle worthy. I think I like my dates to be sweeter, and these are not. And I think it's this element of sort of smokiness or maybe excessive spiciness that also bothers me just a touch. So although this is a very nice fragrance, and I know that many of you like it or would like it, I think, for me, I've tried better date fragrances. So I think this will be a pass on a full bottle, but it is a very lovely scent. Second sample that I have is called Almond Harmony. And the notes in here are almond, vanilla, tonka, heliotrope, perobalsam, iris, jasmine, rose, bergamot, and orange blossom. So let's see what it smells like. I really thought, when I just read the notes, I really thought that this was going to be one of my favorites that I try from this house. But I have to admit that this is actually my least favorite, I think. There is something in here that's kind of synthetic and unpleasant to me, and I'm not sure what it is. I'm definitely getting the almonds and the tonka, so you get that nuttiness. You get some vanilla, although again, it is not overly sweet. Are there some floral notes? I don't know. Perhaps I can't really say that I'm getting florals in here. Maybe it's the pearl balsam, if I had to guess, that brings some kind of resinous quality to this that I am not enjoying. I'm not sure. Bergamot, no, I'm not getting any citruses in here at all. This is not a fresh type of scent. This is definitely nutty, almondy type of. I get more almond than tonka, and there is some kind of a old-fashioned type of vibe to me. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but there's something slightly outdated to this scent. Again, please remember, these are just my opinions. So again, this one I really didn't enjoy. This was my least favorite from the samples that I tried. And the third one that I have from this house is called either Wonderly or Wonderlie. I don't know, you guys tell me. And the notes in here are almond blossom, apricot, sandalwood, vanilla, goji berries, musk, iris, myrrh, cedar, jasmine, neroli, and incense. So kind of an interesting combination of notes. I really didn't know what I would think about this one when I just read the notes. So let's smell it together. This one is very masculine smelling. That's first of all. There's absolutely no sweetness in it. It's very resinous. So myrrh, I think, is coming through. Incense is coming through. Resinous and slightly smoky. There is also neroli. So neroli is listed in here, and I think I'm definitely getting neroli. It's kind of that slightly, neroli always smells slightly bitter to me, so that's what I'm getting in here as well. Almond blossom, apricots, goji berries. I can't say that I'm getting any of this. I'm having a hard time distinguishing any other notes other than that I feel this is a very masculine scent, kind of smoky from incense. Resinous from myrrh. I'm definitely getting a slight bitterness from neroli. Again, this is not my cup of tea. I did not enjoy this scent, and definitely not interested in getting a full bottle. Yeah, to me, again, this is very masculine smelling. So again, these are just my opinions on these fragrances. You know, some I like, some I don't like. You already know, as I mentioned, that I absolutely love Great Pearls from this house, and I have a full bottle of that. And if you watched my September favorites, I also mentioned another sample from this house that I've been trying and I'm absolutely loving, Keep Glazed. It's beautiful, beautiful fragrance that I would definitely love to add to my collection. So there you go. These are my opinions on these three from the house of Oud. Now, next, I want to talk about two fragrances from a very, very interesting niche house called Zoologist. And it was a question or a request by a subscriber that actually prompted me to start this series and specifically prompted me to talk about the House of Zoologist. She mentioned, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, but she asked, why have I never talked about this house? Because this is a very well-known niche Canadian house. It is based in Toronto. It is established or created by Victor Wong in, I think, around 2013. And they have very, very interesting and unique types of fragrances. Now, today, I'm only going to share with you my opinion on two, but I have sampled more. And to be honest with you, the reason that I've never spoken about this house on my channel is because I have tremendous respect for this house. I understand how unique and creative it is, that the fragrances from this house are extremely high quality. But there's some fragrances that I gravitate towards just like anyone else, and there's some I don't. And this is just a house that I don't gravitate towards because the scents are just not really what I enjoy. And that's why I've never spoken about this house. And that's why I'm only going to talk about 2 fragrances today. And the 2 that I've chosen are, one is probably the most talked about fragrance from this house, and the other one is actually my favorite from the ones that I've tried. So the first one, the most talked about, I think, fragrance from this house is the Bee. I do have a sample of that. So first let's look at the notes, and the notes in here are beeswax, benzoin, mimosa, vanilla, heliotrope, ginger, tonka, orange blossom, sandalwood, labdanum, and musk. So let's spray it. And I have smelled this before. This is not my first time trying it. And the main reason that I think these fragrances from this house are not my cup of tea is because they are very realistic and very animalistic types of scents. And so is this one. I mean, I enjoy honey in a fragrance, but this is just too realistic. This is too much for me. This is really not about honey, but more about beeswax. And it is very animalistic. It's almost difficult for me to smell it. It's just too much for me. It almost makes me sick. It's just really cloying type of sweetness to me. And the addition of all the other notes like I think labdanum and I don't know. I don't even know what other notes create that, but it's a very, very potent, very strong type of scent. I know many love it, and I definitely recognize and respect the uniqueness and the creativity of this fragrance, and this whole house overall is just not for me. This is not for the faint at heart. This is for, I mean, you need to be able to handle this scent. This is really, really overwhelming and overpowering type of beeswax sweetness. So I'm really glad I got to try this sample because I was really curious about the fragrance, but this is definitely not going to be a purchase for me. And now the last one is actually the fragrance that is my favorite from everything that I have sampled. And my favorite is definitely Camel. This is my favorite by far. So the notes in here, and there are a lot of notes. I think most of the fragrances in this house have a lot of different notes. So we have dried fruits, myrrh, dates, civet, olibanum, incense, amber, cinnamon, oud, musk, rose, vanilla, orange blossom, jasmine, cedar, sandalwood, vetiver, and tonka. Wow, so many notes. And when I look at some of these, when I first read them, I thought, yeah, I'm definitely not going to like this. I mean, there is oud, there is civet, there are a lot of other notes, but I have to tell you that I really, really like this fragrance. This overall feel that I get from this is like I'm visiting some kind of Middle Eastern market. You know, there's a lot of different types of dried fruits and nuts there, and that's kind of the feeling that I get. So there is you know, civet in here, which is supposed to be the animalic note, right? But this fragrance is not animalic to me at all. This is spicy dried fruits. Again, not overly sweet. There's definitely a lot of spices here. There are some nuts here as well, but it's just combination of all kinds of dried fruits, like you're in the middle of Middle Eastern market. This is very, very nice. Have I considered purchasing a full bottle? Yes. Am I going to? I'm not sure at this point. Although I like the fragrance, I don't think this is something that I would reach for all the time, or I would reach for very often. And because, you know, the fragrances from this house are quite expensive, I'm not sure if it's worth it purchasing a fragrance knowing that you have to be in the mood to reach for this. But this one is very, very nice. And like I said, this is my favorite from this house. So that's it. That's the end of sampling for today. Definitely let me know if you enjoyed this type of video and if you would like to see more. And if you would like to see more, also let me know what fragrances or what houses you're interested in hearing about. So if you enjoyed this video, please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.